Hello and welcome to the 5th round of the World Touring Masters Season 4. Hello and welcome to the 5th round of the World Touring Masters Season 4. I'm Ryan Callan and I'm joined in the booth today by Liam Jenkins.
Yeah, good afternoon everybody, pleasure to be here as always.
And we're looking for a great round here today. We are here at the circuit of Trois Rivieres. Rivieres, as everyone likes to call it. Trois Rivieres is how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it varies amongst drivers. It's an in-joke of the TPS at the moment. Three Rivers, of course, it translates as, and the track is located in Quebec. And so it's almost a home race for William Levesque in this particular event, the only French Canadian in the field. And Season 2, this threw up plenty of surprises. It was a night race in Season 2, so imagine a street track at night, it floodlit and everything that comes with that. We had the top four of Crooks, Davilar, Butcher and Davis fighting for the win. Crooks span out. Butcher got sideways and got spanned by Davis unavoidably. Davis spanned Davilar into the pits. Davilar had to repair his car. And then Davis, with 6 laps to go, was leading and span out. And Ayala came through and won his only TPS win, Liam. So we're looking for another race with that kind of action again here today.
Indeed we will be, and of course, I mean, the practice session alone throwing up some really interesting results. Just quickly taking a look at the standings now, and you can see already that Eric Tveit, the man who took his first victory last time out in the World Touring Masters, is currently fastest again by 3% of a second from our very own Iceman, Jesper Tolberg. Kunis Rivio there at P3. William Levesque, as you said, in almost his home Grand Prix, sits in 4th. Last year's winner Tommy O'Hala sits in P6. It could still be in with a shout. Toby Davis, the man who's 2nd in the championship, is down in P8 at the moment, so I'm sure he'll want something a little bit more than that when it comes to qualifying, but right now maybe the circuit just isn't offering too many opportunities for him.
Well, he's saying he's a bit low down on practice at the moment for this particular track. But you mentioned he's 2nd in the standings. There's 7 minutes to go in this session, so we'll just take a quick chance to look at the standings before this event for you guys, so that you're familiar with how everything is standing right now.
Yeah, so there you see then Jesper Tolberg at the top, 117 points, and he's just absolutely blitzed the opening rounds of this, hasn't he? He's had 3 wins, 1 second place. Davis sits in 2nd on 96 points so far. Eric Tveit after that win parachutes up to the top there on 78 points, 7 points clear of McGregor just behind him. Tommy O'Hala will be looking to get some more points today as he moves down a position because of that. Chris Butcher had a very good race there, moving up past William Levesque, so a little bit of a rivalry between those two. I'm sure we're going to see some more transpiring events of that one today. Florian Strauss stays in his current position on 44 points, and just behind him, Hunas Rivio moving up on 41. The ever-improving Rivio definitely looking to try and improve once again here today, as is Bruno Salza Ferreira at the moment, who again currently doing very well in practice in P7 at the moment, so we'll be looking to try and get a bit further up than that one. Matthias Orban as well, tied with him on 40 points. There's Nagy on 36, Steve Davis up there in 33 points, David Yin on 24, and the man rounding out the top 15 is Anders Nilsson. So he's on 20 points at the moment. He really wants to try and get himself up now, but with 3 rounds to go, time's running out, and time really is of the essence now, isn't it?
It really is, and we've got just a few minutes to go in this session, just 6 minutes to go. Before we go back into the action for you guys, we're just going to quickly tell you about the upcoming broadcasts, as we always do at the TPS, and we're always full of broadcasts. We've actually got 4 broadcasts in just the next, well, actually, if you count today, that's 5 in 10 days in the TPS, so really we've got our work cut out over the next few days. Just 5 in 10 days in the month of November, seen 10 broadcasts in total, really quite astonishing. But the next broadcast to come up is on Friday. This is the World Supertech Series using Game Stock Car and the stock car cars in Game Stock Car. The 3rd season is starting up. 2nd season finished back in September. 3rd season is starting quickly again to take advantage of the closeness of Brazil to GMT in terms of daylight saving times, which is always advantageous, of course, always a problem in league races, trying to get everyone on the same page in terms of trying to drive at the same time and sociable hours. But this WSS is an absolutely stacked field, Liam. You'll know some of these drivers who are involved in this. We've got Precision Motorsports and Twister coming over from FSR and doing battle. We've got, for Precision, we've got Keithley and Tusting. And then Twister have come over with a 5-car effort. They are serious about wresting this title away, making sure it doesn't go to Precision. And that includes the reigning champion Tommy Nielsen joining Twister for this season. And then they've brought in the ringers, of course. Burlak, Benito, Patel and Danny Asbury as well. So that is going to be a very, very strong team. But also, of course, we've got THR. We've got Tolborg, Davis, Butcher, Wiesenmüller. And, of course, then we've got the Interlagos Motorsport, Sene, Lotfi, Nascimento. We've got Tveit and Strani driving together. We've got the new Walk Racing, of course, Lauritsen, Kilo, Sorensen, Udek. Everything is absolutely stacked. I'm sure I've missed out a couple of names there, of course, but it's so difficult to pick out all the names at the moment, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, the actual Green Flag podcast, we filmed that earlier today, and I actually spoke with Toby and Chris about the upcoming World Supertech Series, and they remain pretty optimistic. Obviously, Toby, it is his first time driving these cars. You take a look at him now, and he's really looking forward to it. He's feeling quite confident in what the car can do, and there's also some inside gossip and maybe some of the upcoming rookies coming through, what Twister and Position are trying to bring to this series, maybe who the kind of dark horses are. So it's definitely worth a watch if you want to find out what the drivers think of the upcoming season. But from a commentator's perspective, I can't wait for 2 days away.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. It is, I'd say, without doubt, the strongest touring car lineup in terms of driver strength, of course, in sim racing right now. I mean, it cannot be better. That kind of depth of talent really is absolutely amazing. And looking forward to the amazing Game Stock Car providing amazing racing also Game Stock Car. On Saturday, we have the Mid-Ohio round of the Virtual Mini Challenge. It's the final event of the season. Peter Davila goes into that as the overwhelming favourite to win the championship and the GamePod GT2 racing rig. So make sure you tune in for that. So we're going to quickly now go back to the action And Liam, and that's talk about actually what's going on track today.
Yeah, and still you can see Eric Tveit maintaining that momentum at the top of the field. As you take a look at Toby Davis at the moment, he's up to P5. Of course, this is practice, so it's not too revealing into what kind of fuel load they're running. Davis could be on race fuel, and Tveit could very well be on qualifying fuel. You just don't know in these sort of sessions, but it all become apparent in just 2 minutes and 46 seconds before we head to qualifying. We're seeing a great onboard view now of Toby Davis's car, and just how tight and twisty this circuit is. Car choice really is key here now, because some cars will really fly around here and others it will lack downforce, really will struggle because it's such a harsh braking on most of these corners that it really can affect the brakes and the tyre wear. So I'm sure, well, maybe we may even see Jesper Tolberg pit stop today.
That would be a turn up for the books, wouldn't it? A pit stop where he actually pits because he has to, rather than pits because he just feels like it. So Eric Tveit, of course, won last time around, the first ever Touring Pro Series winner, and the youngest ever Touring Pro Series winner at just 14 years old. He's topping the championships right now, as you say, but look how tight this track is. A very, very fast turn one, lots of camber on the inside. Again, quite quick in turn 2, but it narrows very quickly, as Toby demonstrates there. And then, you talk about narrowing, there we go, there is the archway, the defining feature of this track, really. And this straight also as well can be quite difficult because the trees actually overhang the track, and it's quite difficult to see actually exactly what's ahead of you, and you get distracted just for a second there. Very hard braking. This is where Crook span and where Butcher span in season 2, and that's where Toby Davis span right there. So that's that demonstration of that lap over. But as you can see how tight this track is. We've got Robert Wiesenmüller at his first event in the World Touring Masters. He's never driven the World Touring Masters before, has he? I just want to show his livery, but he's out on track anyway, so we're going to see it that way. And this is in the Rover, so he's joined Eric Tveit in the Rover Brigade. We've also got Gary Lennon, who's come back into the series. He didn't sign up because he was a bit fed up, because he always used to think he chose the wrong car, but now he's watched a few rounds and he misses it, so he's back. So it's great to see Gary Lennon back, and he's at the helm of the Toyota Supra, as you can see. So great to have the Scotsman back in the series. Let's quickly talk about some of the drivers we don't talk about too much during the event. So let's have a quick look down the field. Let's quickly talk about Jeff Dobbing, actually. Oh, nice timing there for Jeff. Poor Jeff. We actually managed to cut to him just as he was crashing into the barrier. Very easy to do there. I think he was actually trying to pass the driver also. But one of the very solid drivers, a driver you can always rely on and always finishes races, Liam.
Yeah, and that's what you need, especially in a series as competitive as this. It's not always the fastest guy who wins this. Obviously, in Jesper's case, most of the time it is. But it really is about consistency if you want those points. The midfield in this series is just so competitive. If you're a team boss and you want to start a team out, then you're just looking for maybe talent within the series without, going for the big guns who are already snapped away. You're looking for those consistent guys like Jeff. Race in, race out, will put in 100% effort in practice and still deliver those results. He may not be on the podium every single race, but he'll be in those big point scoring positions and really just claiming some big ground for the team. And he's just going to put in nothing short than 100%.
And there's a reason why he was chosen as Toby Davis's teammate at the Bathurst 500 earlier this year, because he knows he'll bring the car home. We're about to go into qualifying here. Let's quickly talk about Tomasz Malizewski. However, not talked about him too much throughout the season either. He's in the same as we just go into qualifying there. That's the signal to go into qualifying for those people who are not quite familiar with the foibles of rFactor. So quickly go back to Mr. Tomasz Malizewski. He's in the same car, of course, as Jesper Tolberg, so plenty of drivers saying it's the car for Jesper Tolberg, but Tomasz is not a slow driver at all. Had plenty of good results in the TPS, and look where he's in the field. So it really does show the genius, of course, of Jesper Tolberg.
Yeah, and that is, we say this every round, that is why he is probably the most illustrated driver in perhaps all of sim racing. He just really does just go against all the odds. He knew that car wasn't the quickest in previous seasons. He knew that it perhaps wasn't going to be the quickest this season, but he just put in all that effort in testing and really just made that car come alive. And in turn, the only race he hasn't won was last round when Eric Tveit took the victory.
Absolutely, and of course he still came second by less than a second, so it wasn't exactly like he was beaten badly either. Not the track that suits that car either. So we are now here in qualifying. I would not like to be on this track right now. Look how busy it is. The track is only a 1:05 track, 1:06, I guess, 1:07 for in general. We've got 51 laps here today though, Liam, as well, so that's going to be a very hard race indeed. Let's quickly go up to whoever's out on track furthest around the track. I believe we've got a couple of drivers starting their laps. Yes, we've got William Levesque and Eunice Rivio first on track. So let's track with them. We've got 51 laps here today, but this is qualifying right now. 15 minutes to set your fastest time. Of course, the further up the grid you are, the less likely you are to get involved in trouble, and the easier it is to get a better result. And the less likely you are to be involved in a kerfuffle down at this corner here on the opening lap.
Yeah, and the thing is, as you said, those trees are also quite blinding. So imagine that with around, 10 other cars around you all just into position as they go through the archway. It really is a test of the driver's awareness and concentration, because you just don't know what's going to come in front of you. Say there's a crash at that corner, and you've only just come out of the archway, there's no real way you're going to see it until you see all the massive kind of block-ups and brake testing going on in front of you. So for now, I think William Levesque has got this track right in the palm of his hand. This is down to how badly he tested. I think Davis mainly could have made the wrong decision there, because this is one track you really need to know the ins and outs of, as even there, Levesque gets a little bit hairy over the curves, but nonetheless, it shouldn't affect his time too badly. But he really has got that track now in its perfect position. He's got no traffic in front of him, none behind him. It's him versus the tarmac and it's the odds. So let's see what he can do here then as he comes towards the end of the lap. This is going to be good enough. That's his benchmark time. So the first time of the afternoon, a 106.338, a 106.6 by last time's race winner Eric de Veit, twisting partners of 108. So the time's starting in thick and fast, and a very good benchmark time now. And that's just been smashed by almost a second by Jesper Tolberg, a 105.494, 9/10 quicker than William Levesque's time. That is just astounding.
And that is equal to Eric de Veit's fastest time for practice. And Eric has said that he can't do a 0.4 in qualifying. He said the nerves will get to him, so it might be that Tolberg's already got pole here in the opening seconds of the qualifying session.
Well, it'll be truly amazing if he has. You can see how he's dancing the car around as well as he comes off the exit of the corners. Truly is beautiful to watch. And of course, we're almost really through halfway of the lap already, but you touched on a point as well. It's a very long race this afternoon. It's almost like you found a Monte Carlo or Formula One. It's just very long, very technical and demanding circuit, both mentally and physically. Not too many runoff areas, which means that you can get into trouble very easily. And with 51 laps as well, it's almost an hour's worth of racing. It really is going to try and take that fatigue out of the drivers, and it's going to be the more experienced guys in the field, I think, who are going to have the better races this afternoon.
Yes, but not going faster on his next lap. Who could challenge him, of course? Levesque is out on track at the moment, on an out lap at the moment. Here is Robert Wiesenmuller. So this is his first qualifying lap in the World Touring Masters. He's coming to the end of the World Touring Masters in this mod. There's only 3 races left for this mod, including today. And that's not a good time to start off for Robert. He's still third in the 106.516. So de Veit's out on an out lap as well. Chris Butcher on an out lap. Tommy Oyala on an out lap also. Matteo Ban is on a fast lap right now, just 4 tenths down the Jesper Tolberg, so that's favourable at the moment. That's only in sector 1, of course. Sector 2 is just along here. Toby Davis goes second with a 106.152. This is the car that Dave Allard drove to the Season 2 title, and so was so very quick at this track as well. So this car really suits this track. This track is mainly, although it's a tight track, it's not just about handling, it's about the squirt off the corner, the low-end torque, which suits the Sierra and the Volvo. They have plenty of low-end torque. So look out, that's why Matteo Ban will be doing well here today. Of course, the Volvo likes simple corners, and many of the corners here are quite simple. It's a simple shape with simple corners.
Yeah, and Matteo simply going up into P7 as well, so great lap there by him. 2 tenths off of hard charger Eric de Veit, and I'd say de Veit right now could be hard charge for the season in terms of, like, if you have a little driver awards. Of course, he had that amazing charge through the field at Spa, took his first victory. We can get another good result here today. He really has shined this season. I'm sure it'll be a sign of things to come as well. And right now he's in a good position, though, P6, but he really is pushing that car to the limits. There's a difference. This is your first time driving this track, or even your 100th time. This track really can scare you, because you have to run so close to the barriers, and that's just how close de Veit goes 800ths of a second quicker than Tolberg. He said it wasn't possible, like you said, to do a 0.4 in qualified. Can he challenge that now as he comes almost around the final corner? Can this be enough for him? Let's see what he can do here as he flicks over that final apex across the start-finish line. Can this be pole position for Eric de Veit provisionally? No, it's not, but it's a 105.5. A very respectable time, and still 6 tenths quicker than Eunice Rivio, so a very exceptional time by Eric de Veit. And as we said, that man just keeps on impressing, doesn't he? Definitely a very, very hot prospect for the future, and just 14 years old as well.
Absolutely, that's a fantastic lap time there from Eric Tveit. He almost crashed into the back. I think it was Bruno Celso Ferreira's car. As he was coming down the straight and Ferreira was pulling over to the side. I don't think Eric expected him to be quite so slow on the straight and be so accommodating. And he kind of almost had to swerve out the way. That might have put him off a little bit, but he was actually faster in that second sector, so I don't think it did. So Eric Tveit, so close to that pole position. He's just 700 of a second off getting that pole position. So very close indeed. Chris Butcher's down on an outlap at the moment. Here is William Levesque. Can he improve? He's only 7th at the moment. He does. He goes third, 6.083, but it's very close between those third and 7th places, Liam.
Indeed, it is. There's barely anything separating them in. I mean, just almost, well, something like what, that's a tenth of a second, really, isn't it, between third place and 6th. And then Chris Butcher, as you say as well, not too far away, sitting in P7 at the moment, looking very handy. And of course, Chris very experienced in this series, but I think it'll be interesting to see what maybe Robert Wiesenmuller can do. As you said, it's his first time in his World Touring Masters car, so to get himself into P6 and qualify will be a very impressive feat indeed. We'll have to see what he can do in the race and see if he can transfer that momentum as driving gets very aggressive over the curve as he comes in towards the final part of this circuit now. And it's just scarily close. You literally have to trade paint with the walls there. You can see the little black scratchings on the wall where cars have just traded paint too much. Maybe even sustained a little bit of damage, but across the line he goes, stays 4th, but he does improve his time. And then look at that, 5,000ths of a second separating himself and William Levesque. How close are these cars out there now? We said the midfield will be particularly feisty. This is going to get extremely competitive now.
Always very committed through there that time around. He was slow in this sector last time around, 3/10 down in fact on Jesper Toll, but this time he's only 2/10 down, so he's committed more through there, and he's gone a 10th faster than he did on the previous lap. What can he do around here? Because he was good in this second sector, really good. He was about equal. Oh, Jesper Tollborg, and he's not done it right there because he's clipped the inside wall, which is so easy to do. And you almost aim for the walls here because half the time you're understeer wide of that. It's a little bit more difficult in the rear-wheel drive cars to assume you're going to understeer wide. They tend to oversteer quite a lot. But last time's winner at this track, Tommy Oyala, has just got 9th in the standings, as you can see. So he's not going as quick as he was in season 2, but definitely still in that mix.
Yeah, and I'm sure, as you said, of course, I mean, it's looking there, you can see Gary Lennon, P10, definitely could rise through the standings, but Tommy O'Hala, P9, just in front of him. As you said, he's a race winner here before. He knows what it takes to be fast and competitive round here, and again, consistency is the key. Just taking up those pieces which were thrown at him. He fit the jigsaw together. That was a very rewarding jigsaw indeed, and chalking it of a jigsaw puzzle to right. May have got this one stuffed. He's 400ths of a second quicker at the moment, and he's not too far away until here he comes then around this final section of the track once again. Can Tveit shock the world and be Jesper Tollborg at his own game? Let's see if he can maybe snatch a pole position. 6 minutes to go. Is this enough? No, it's not. He lost a little bit of time, but 700, so that's less than a tenth of a second, shorter than a blink of an eye. These two are so evenly matched right now.
He's improved by 2,000ths of a second right there, actually. But he didn't keep to the right as he was going along the straight. That may have cost him those extra hundredths of a second. If you keep to the right, it's a shorter run to the final corner. We'll quickly demonstrate that here with Jesper Tollborg. Going through the final few corners now. He's just got the left-hander here, which is really quite quick, and then the hairpin, and then the final corner. We'll quickly show you that you can actually cut off just a few hundredths of a second, a la another French-Canadian's themed connection there with Jacques Villeneuve, who figured that out at Montreal before anybody else seemed to. That you can actually shortcut it straight to the finish line. And here is Jesper Tollborg now going to that finish line. You can see, you keep to that side of the track, then you can actually cut out a little bit of the distance. And Jesper Tollborg isn't doing that time around because I probably felt that he was a little bit slower. But Eric Tveit, if he just kept to that the right-hand side, then he may have beaten Jesper's time. Of course, we'll never know now, as Jay actually just gets out of the way of Jesper Tollborg, and Jesper always clips the. And it's nasty little corner as well, because you've got you've always got the tyres there, and then you've got the wall, and then there's a bit of the wall that sticks out as well, just to add insult to injury. But now we've got Ryvan of 5.866, who's just beaten William Levesque's 5.868. We've got Ross McGregor's just gone a 6.012 to 5th, so it's all very compact indeed in that top 8. Tommy Oyala some way off getting into the top 8 at the moment. Jesper Tollborg is 2/10 off his own time. I don't think this will be an improvement. We'll just stick with it just in case it is. Wiesenmuller, a 5.989, so he's 5th. Wiesenmuller is 5th, and Wiesenmuller has been gathering steam in the TPS lately. Figured out that he can win in the virtual mini challenge. Has planted himself in the World Supertech Series cars now as well, as if the Torvald does not improve. And now Wiesenmuller fancies himself in the WTM cars also, so he's definitely one who's improving hand over fist through the practice and the effort he's put into the TPS. So great to see. Wiesenmuller, of course, is the admin for the virtual mini challenge. He goes into the final race of that season with a chance of winning the title, but a slim chance it is at the moment.
Yeah, right now we're looking to try and maybe build some momentum going into it. Before going to another division, if you can prove, because I mean the majority of these drivers will race the other championship as well, of course with the exception of Peter Duiva, who's not here at the moment. But if he can muster a really good result today, coming into these cars for the first time, prove that he's faster than some of the guys here at their own game, then who knows if William Levesque makes a beautiful drift around there. But he really wants that momentum, and I'm sure Wiesenmuller can really begin to pick up even more steam now and carry that in towards the minis. To see what William Levesque can do here then, again going towards that tricky final corner. You don't want to take too much of that curve because there's a very nasty looking wall just directly in front of him. He moves over to the right hand side of the track and he goes 4th, and it's not good enough really. He's 4/10 slower than his personal best, but just noticing from Jesper Tolberg's time, so that's from 1st place to 9th place, less than a second separating them. If that transpires into race pace, this could well be a closer fight at the front of the field than it could be in the rest of the field. And Derek Tveit is very fast right now. We said he's got the pace. He's gone 600ths of a second quicker. He's had odd sector times here and there where he's been quicker than the Iceman, but right now he seems to be feeling that momentum. He knows he can do this. 2 minutes left in the session. Can he shock the world again as he comes around this long right hand and out for a sharp braking point? And he's a 10th quicker there. 0.127 seconds to fight. It's flying at the moment in a bit wobbly X area over the curve. Shouldn't hurt him too badly though, as he gets ready for the final corner now then. Is this going to be quicker? He's got to realise, Ryan, of course, as you said, if
that's a beautiful final corner.
Right-hand side, he's got it very well. Little bit of a bounce there though.
Stay to the side! Stay to the side!
Can he do it?
No, he can't. That was that understeer at the 3rd last corner on the left-hander when it went over the big anti-cuts. He just missed the apex completely, and that's
and that one as well.
And that one as well. Then there we go. That's Derek Tveit over for this particular attempt at the pole position. But he's so close, and you feel that it's building. And he's got one more chance. There's a minute 30 to go. So in minute 5 is the lap. So he's got one more chance to get around the track and start a new lap. Toby Davis at the moment is 7th. Oh, and Thomas Vanizewski has blocked the track there for everyone trying to get through. And Kevin Enderman getting out of shape also. Don't know if that affected the driver. I think he doesn't want to do any damage at all, so he's just about got away with that. He doesn't want to go back to the pits. He won't have any time to get back out around again. And look at the traffic on track at the moment. Jay Edgy coming through also. Toby Davis is 7th at the moment. Can he improve? He doesn't have to improve by very much, but he's still 7th. Just needs those 0.3 of a second, and he'll go 3rd. And he's not going to improve on this lap, definitely not. So we'll leave that for now. Chris Butcher is back in the pits. He will not finish any better than 8th. Tommy started it better than 8th, I guess you could say. Tommy Oyala, well out of shape out of the final corner. He has no choice but to go to the right hand side of the track there as he comes towards the line and does not improve. And he's got no chance to improve either. Leonard is out on track, so he's got a chance to improve. Who else is out on track? Toby will start a new lap. Ross McGregor is 6th. Wiesenmuller is 5th. He's just going to be practicing his starts. I presume he won't be able to set a new lap time. Levesque starts a new lap. Rivio starts a new lap. Tveit's about to start a new lap. Jesper's just starting a new lap, so it's all kicking off here. Let's go in chronological order here. I think Toby Davis is first on track for those top drivers. There's 10 seconds to go in qualifying. 8 seconds to go in qualifying. It's just 0.169 down in that first sector. That's really very, very good indeed for that first sector, because we're seeing that Rivio, for example, was 0.2 down in that sector. Oh, Davis has tried too hard and clipped the wall coming out of turn 5. It's turn 4 even, should I say. Apologies there, there's turn 5. Here is turn 6 now. And he's only 0.118 down actually. It's actually helped him run into that wall. He's managed to correct the car, just 0.118 down. He could go up into pole position here if he just gets the final couple of corners right. He has to get this perfect. Toby Davis, final corner, a little bit narrow on entry, but good exit from the corner previously. Over the curb, sticks to the right hand side. What has Toby Davis got? Can he go pole? He cannot. He stays 7th. Oh, that's unbelievable. He stays 7th after such a superb couple of opening sectors. Who else is on the track? We've got Ross McGregor out on track. He'll not improve. Wiesel on track. Levesque will not improve. Rivio will not improve. Tveit will not improve. So Jesper Torborg has pole position here. I think that's everybody on track who has finished. Maybe Gary Lennon. No, that's everyone. Oh, Luis Fernandez is coming through. He's in 15th at the moment. Can he improve? Oh no, he's not going to improve. He's quit back to the pit. So that's everything, Liam. Torborg gets pole again.
Yeah, and he really is looking to carry that momentum now, but he's got to wonder, though, how close those guys were. They were around 500 to a second apart, Tolberg and Tveit. So I reckon there could be a little bit of an aggressive battle going in towards turn 1. But we do have a warm-up session for you first. So there is confirmation that Jesper Tolberg once again not only brings that Toyota Supra Mark III to the front row, but sits it on pole position in front of Tveit's Rover. Unas Rivio again, ever improving in the BMW, goes in 3rd place. William Levesque goes into P4. Good result for him on his home ground. Robert Wiesemuller, his first time in these cars, breaks into the top 5. Ross McGregor starts in 6th place in front of Toby Davis and Chris Butcher. These two will really want to try and push their way through the field, especially Toby sits in 2nd place in the championship. Last year's winner, Tommy Ohala, sits in 9th position in front of Gary Lennon, who rounds out the top 10 in his Toyota Supra.
And that is Jesper Torborg's 5th pole position of the season. And guess how many rounds we've had? 5.
5.
So it's 5 from 5 for Jesper Torborg. That's absolutely stunning. But this was the one where he was under threat the most, I would say. I bet he was very worried about Eric Tveit on more than one occasion in that particular session there. And Unas Rivio's 2nd best qualifying of the season. He came 2nd place in qualifying at Mid-Ohio. And today here he comes 3rd. So he's improving quite a lot.
It is, and it's just really going to be interesting.
Sorry, my apologies, I didn't run through the grid there for you. There we go. Let's go through the grid a bit more for you guys. Tommy Davis in 7th place, and Chris Butcher, his good friend and THR co-owner, on that 4th row alongside him. Tommy Oyala in 9th. The last time anybody would have raced it was Tommy Oyala. So he's not showing the pace that perhaps could win the race here today, but still enough to get a good position, I'm sure. Gary Lennon has returned to the series in 10th place. 11th, David Junt. 12th, Matteo Bani. Might be just a little bit, just a tad disappointed with that position. Might have felt he could get into that top 10. 13th place, Bruno Ferreira. Equally might have thought he could get into the top 10. 14th place, Kevin Enderman. I'm sure he's quite pleased with that. Fernandez in 15th. 16th is Jay Adji. 17th is Jeff Dobbing. 18th is Ethan Bass. 19th, Ike Ruding. 20th is Lee Palmer. So that's an all 635. 10th row there. Tristan Clark 21st. Andy Bernard 22nd. Ockerclint there in 23rd. We're quite pleased with that lap actually, I'm pretty sure, Ockerclint. 24th, Marzejewski, really struggling throughout that session. 25th, Tony Matthews. 26th is Dmytro Botnarenko. 27th is Bradley Vanian. 28th, Scott Cervic. 29th, Olimaris Miervold. And 30th was Matt Emmons, but he will not qualify for this particular event.
So not too long of warm left to go now, so it really is a chance, I think, for the drivers to maybe just warm down after what must have been really intense qualifying sessions, to say the least, especially for the man on board Jesper Tolberg. But of course he is very good at maintaining that solid composure and really is one of the most calmest drivers I've ever come across. No matter what situation you put him in, he just never seems to fail and make mistakes. He's always constantly there and knows what to do. But that's never a good place to stop, Kevin. Now there's, yeah, that was inevitable carnage there. And I think that was William Levesque collected along the way. But with a minute left of warm-up, guys maybe practicing their starts, and with a track as tight as this, and a first corner as punishing as this one, Ryan, I think race starts could well be a very big key factor here.
Absolutely, because pretty much it's single file within 3 corners at this particular track. Because you have to, it's quite wide at that first turn, there's plenty of camber on the inside, so you want to be on the inside, and it narrows again at turn 2, and then of course, narrowing is an understatement at turn 3, so it's all single file at that point, and then you've got single file all the way down the next straight as well. And Kevin Enderman, I want to quickly talk about Kevin, I'm not talking about him too much this season so far. He's in that Supra, that Skyline, as you can see, as campaigned by Degree in the last season. Enderman is German, but a wannabe Australian. He's spent lots of his time in Australia, and his team name is Team Down Under. No team championship in this, of course, but in other TPS championships he has Team Down Under, and he'll be very pleased with that 14th place in the grid, I'm pretty sure, because he's struggled a little bit this season in that somewhat recalcitrant Nissan Skyline. It can be a bit of a handful, and on this track as well, I'm quite impressed that he's done so well on this track, because it's very peaky and lots of these corners are very slow as Kevin goes for a little bit of a spin just there next to the castle and goes back to the pit. So we're at the end of warm-up here. We're about to go into the race, but of course we have a formation lap to go.
Indeed we do. It's going to be very, very interesting. And the last thing you want as well is a little incident on the warm-up lap. It gets very tense as well, knowing that you've got to try and stay in your grid position, warm the tyres and the brakes. But there's not really room to do that, especially when you've got a massive plus 30 car field all trying to do the same thing with a circuit.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
30 seconds before the cars will line up on the grid, and Jesper Tolberg, for the 5th time this season, will lead the field around the circuit on his formation lap.
Absolutely, I think everyone's getting a little bit sick of seeing the back of that Toyota Supra. If you don't like the colour scheme on the back of the Toyota Supra, then I'm pretty sure you'd be sick of it by now, absolutely. And this is the view you would get of the back of Jesper Tolborg's car. There you would have it, and it doesn't have too much colour scheme on the back actually, so if you're particularly offended by white, that would be a bit racist, wouldn't it, Anyway, if you're particularly offended by white, then Jesper's car is not the one you want to be behind, and this series is not for you. Anyway, nonsensical talk aside, let's get into the action here as the helicopter goes ahead. Of course, we haven't talked about sim racing hardware this time around, Liam. Simracinghardware.com make many add-ons, many custom and bespoke add-ons for your sim racing wheels and hardware and all that kind of button boxes and rev counters and all kinds of things. And they are providing the prize here for this particular championship. And simracinghardware.com is owned by Mr. Brian Clancy, who has raced in this series before, so many thanks to him for sponsoring this series. Tolbert leads these cars around. This is not a very long formation lap at all, but it is a long race. This is the longest race of the season. We're going from the shortest race of the season at Salzburg Ring, Liam, to the longest race in terms of time.
Yeah, and that change really can affect the driver's mindset as well, especially these drivers who aren't used to these kind of distances, but the one man who is sitting on that front row of the grid on pole position. One man who may not be used to it but could well be the underdog if he can get everything right today. Eric de Wijk, he really wants a good start today as they come across the start-finish line now, and they will get ready to line up on that spot. It's going to get very tense now. De Wijk knows what he has to do, and it's going to get very tense indeed. You can see that immediately all brake trying to get some last-minute heat into those brakes and tyres, but it's all about the launch. As you said, they're single file for almost 3 corners, so they really have got to try and sort themselves out into an order before trying to get there. As you can see, to have a little bit of a drift as he comes in there is Levesque's red car at home. He would love a win at his home Grand Prix. We'll have to see what he can do as the rest of the field line up. Eyes on the prize, but more importantly for De Wijk, eyes on Jesper Tolberg.
And we're ready to go racing here. Let's just zoom out. Oh, well, I went to replay then. My apologies there. I pressed the wrong button. And everyone's lining up on the grid now. We are looking from Ross McGregor's car. You can hear the lights, you can see the lights are on, and the lights are on, away from the grid they go. And Ross McGregor off for a decent start there, beats the Muller, to Luke Brown in his first ever WTM start, but taking the lead of the race. Eric de Wijk, he's taking the lead of the race. Jesper Tolborg, his customary slow starts. A good job he starts on pole position because he doesn't normally start the race very well. He goes back to second. Levesque is up to third. Ravio is back to fifth. Is everyone going to get through here cleanly? I wonder if that's the case. Just to watch them all come through if we can. And it seems like everyone is. Oh, there's been a bit of a bump now at the back of Jack Robbins' car. Oh, and who is that? Number 29. That is Jonathan Auckland in his Mustang. Not a good start to the race for him. But back to the front of the field. In 7th place is Toby Davis, so pretty much 6th place now. He's got ahead, of course, of Butcher and Wiesenmuller. Butcher started behind him, so he's not got ahead of Butcher. He's stayed ahead of Butcher, but got ahead of Wiesenmuller, so he picked up 1 position off the start. Rivo, the big loser, is back from 3rd to 5th. Here you can see, off the grid, how they stand, the top 8.
Yeah, really well start.
Apologies, Liam, there. Go ahead, Liam.
I would say it was an absolutely exceptional start there for Eric de Wijk. We said he knew what he had to do in providing he got that start right. He he could really get the job done, but now he's going to focus on keeping it, because having Jesper Tolberg sat behind you just waiting for a mistake, especially around the circuit, is just waiting to catch you out at any given opportunity, is a very tense and intimidating feeling indeed. And we'll see how Dwight handles this pressure, but he knows what it's like to be Jesper Tolberg. Well, this was the order they finished out, albeit by not very much, under a second, but this was the order they finished at just a couple of weeks ago. William Lemecq up to third. You take a look now at Ross McGregor, who's trying to actually pull away from Hooney's rider, who's given a bit of a hard time there, who's lost the position. Toby Davis sits behind, and as I said at the start of the race, that midfield, seen around, I'd say, positions 5 to 10, really is going to get tense, I think, because they were so evenly matched. This is really going to be a test of not only endurance, but placement of where you want to park the car, because the last thing you want to do is go for a move which doesn't pay off, because in this track, it can prematurely end your race in the blink of an eye.
And just back in the field, I can see just plenty of action. Let's just go quickly get to this action. We've got, Enderman missing the front clip on his car, I think. Bondarenko, Dobbin, and Scott Cervic holding forward to Big Bath, and you can see the order of that. Oh, Enderman down the inside of Tristan Clark. Right, out of the way. This is Skyline friendliness for you. Obviously, they're all sticking together. Not really the case. The thing like is missing perhaps his front splitter on the back of that. Obviously, this goal caught back up to these guys also. So there's been a bit of hairiness going on here. So Cervic goes down the inside of Bondarenko. Fernandez trying to follow his way through. Fernandez started in 16th, so I think Fernandez has lost plenty of ground here. Fernandez and Pereira really have struggled at the start of these races this season so far. They've often lost out either in instance of their own making or poor starts, or they can't avoid themselves. Bondarenko's got a bit of damage to that left hand side of his car. He's caught perhaps a wall jutting out somewhere, and now they're all over the back of Scott Cervic as Vanian goes down the inside. And Vanian is also David the series, by the way. We covered him earlier. We will cover him as soon as we can. Fernandez now too conservative on the inside. Auckland goes into the wall in the background. Fernandez has held up Enderman and not gained any positions at all on Bondarenko and Cervic. It's furious back here. Jesper Tolberg fastest lap of the race, still in second place. Vanian off the track. Vanian on the track, and Cervic in the wall as well. Oh, it's all gone wrong here. It's all gone a bit Pete-Tong. Now here is Miervold. I'm not envying him being in that car at this particular track here today.
It's gone around the outside, a very risky move, he's pushed to the curb. Oh, that was just absolutely beautiful. You say you wouldn't want to envy him in that car. He's definitely a target, but he's been pushing through the field beautifully. And times like this, starting at the back of the field can have its advantages, making us pick up the pieces. But that, he had to really work for. And there you can see Bradley Vanian, and I'm sure he'll be next up on his hit list. Fernandez, so just behind him now at the moment. So these three all line of stern to go through turn 3 under the archway. So it really was a brilliant move there by Miervold. I'm sure that one will be highlighted in the highlight reel after the race. You can see now Bradley Vanian just trying to hold off Luis Fernandez while he can. You can see them very close down.
Oh, Vanian, he's had a tap. He's had a tap from Enderman. There is Enderman, and so Enderman's great qualifying has counted for no. But let's get back to the front of the field. Erik Tveit, fastest lap of the race. Tolberg was fastest lap last time around. Erik Tveit has responded. So Tveit leading by just under a second. Third place is Ross McGregor. Third place, Lynn Levesque, sorry. Fourth place is Ross McGregor. And losing ground. Raivio is back in 8th also, by the way. So, again, we're seeing that Raivio makes the mistakes. It costs him. It costs him. And it has cost him here today. He's gone from 5th to 8th. He's gone from 3rd on the grid to 5th and then to 8th. So, not good for him. He's dropped back in behind Wiesenmuller and Butcher. And Davis now is applying the pressure to Ross McGregor. But Ross McGregor is one of those drivers it's difficult to get past because he doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, really he's one of the most consistent drivers in the field, and he's shown that all season long, and that is why that driver is currently 4th in the standings, so really is a force to be reckoned with. And Davis realises this because these guys have raced with each other so many times before. With a track like this, as we keep saying, it's so hard to overtake, and you really do have to think outside the box. But the thing is you're stuck in the dirty air for the majority of the lap because there aren't too many overtaking opportunities. So he goes very wide over the curve and trying to get a bit of a slipstream. So that dirty air really can affect the handling of the car, and in fact he can lose a bit of speed and grip as well. But right now you take a look at Wiesenmuller, who's in a little sandwich at the moment. Raivio tries to pick up momentum as he puts Wiesenmuller round the outside of Chris Butcher. Again a risky move, but Butcher very hastily knew where that was coming from, got over to the right side of the track and defended it. But these three really are, I said, think outside the box. It's a bit early on for something that extravagant, I think, so far. But Butcher really doesn't want to let these guys pass, does he?
Absolutely not, of course. No, he won't let anybody pass at all. And now Rivio is attacking Wiesenmüller, who has to go defensive down this straight in that beautiful Rover. I must say, I love that paint job on that car. I love the front end and that white stripe across the front. It's incredibly simple, but works so well. And Wiesenmüller does hold off Rivio. We're going to another battle on track amongst them, Orban and Lennon and David Juntz. This is the battle for 9th place on track. So Mathieu Orban, despite qualifying outside the top 10, he's now found himself inside the top 10. He qualified in 12th, he's up to 9th. David Juntz around the penultimate corner. It's such an annoying corner, that one, because not only do you have to negotiate this annoyingly slow corner, you also have to get back across the track immediately for the final corner, so it just heightens the what's the word? Inconvenience, sorry, of that particular corner. I must say I hate driving that in particular. The rest of the track is fantastic, but that corner itself annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, it really can catch a lot of drivers out there. David, you see at the moment, really trying to get on the back of Gary Lennon, and you can take a look back through the field. Lee Palmer on the attack there as he just tries, though, to hold off a very hungry Ethan Bass, who's doing very well there currently. Sits in P16, though, again, still coming under pressure. So a lot of group racing today is anticipated, because there's just no room to pass, and even the places where you can pass, there's a very high risk of some really big damage to the car, both front and rear end. So really have to be careful about where you park. I'm doing past the afternoon so far, 7 laps in. We're going to move value on, and there goes Chris Clark, I believe. No, Tony
That's Matthews, yeah.
Yes, so
and you said Ethan Bass was hungry. How hungry was Tony Matthews then? As he was tapping the back of Ethan Bass into turn 2. He must have been starving. And now Ethan Bass is going to be extremely hungry here, because he's lost loads of positions, made a move. Down the inside of Andy Bernard. What on earth was that? I'm not sure what exactly was going on there. A bit of horn beeping as well, I thought I heard in the background. Not exactly pleasing each other there. Oyala dived down the inside. Not sure why Oyala is so far back there, quite frankly. Must have made a mistake somewhere, or going to tap or drive through or something along those lines. But it's way back. We've seen somebody has collected those tyres at the first corner also. A big black mark on those tyres where it slammed into that particular area. But Oyala trying now to get past Tony Matthews, and Ethan Bass has gone from being just ahead of Lee Palmer to being back in 19th, and now Jeff Dobbins on the back of him also as well. Ethan Bass just taps the brakes down the straight just to test that his leg is in the right position. Now Ethan Bass is going to go deep here, and Dobbins going to go through. Dobbins goes through, so Bass back to 20th. It's not going well at the moment for Ethan Bass. Back to the front of the field, we have Eric Tveit still with the kind of the same amount of gap over Jesper Toll. We've got DNF from the race. It's Scott Servik and Ike Ruding. They're both out of the race. I was wondering where Ruding was. We saw Scott Servik spin earlier, but maybe something's happened there with him also. And Enderman and Vanian bringing up the rear of the field. They're even behind Auckland at the moment, who was seen twice off the track. So they're having a miserable time at the moment. Chris Butcher is back to 17th. Chris Butcher back to 17th. We'll just try and get to him. It's typically in the middle of the field. Who was that we just saw in the barrier? I'm sure it was just a figment of my imagination. But Chris Butcher, look at his car! Liam, look at his car! It's absolutely destroyed!
And he's still on! Oh, he's still trying to fight for positions. I was going to say.
Look at this! His car is destroyed! There's not a single corner straight on it!
It really is a perfect advert for don't drink and drive now, because that are the consequences of what your car can do.
I don't know what he's been drinking,
all over the place.
He's been drinking absinthe or ouzo or something, because it's not going to look at that car. It is absolutely destroyed. He's definitely not been drinking Labatt's.
Yeah, you could say it's butchered, for use of a better word. He needs to try and get that one to the pit lane sooner rather than later. He's down to 23rd position, and he really won't be too happy with that one. I saw he was up there, as we say.
I wonder what happened to him. Let's see if we can get a replay of that, guys. I don't think we can, because we were looking at a completely different part of the track. We're going to rewind here. Apologies, this looks incredibly unprofessional, but we are wanting to get to the bottom of this mystery. Oh, he's spun out of the final turn. What's happened here? Who's hit him? Is he by himself? What on earth has happened? This is gold. This is gold. Oh, he's got sideways. Look, he's got sideways out of the final turn. He's hit the curb. He's spatting back the other way, and he's absolutely destroyed his car against the inside wall. And of course, he's had to wait because everyone's coming flying past. He tries to get restarted. He's in the middle of the road. Oh, unbelievable stuff. There goes everybody going past him. He has to wait. Oh, he would have been panic stations. His eyes would have been like saucers. in that car there as he gets going behind Botnarenko, and Mirvo comes through. Oh, he just gets the way of him as well. Oh, what a disaster there. So apologies for rewinding, but he seems to be keeping going. His car doesn't look like it's... It must have been into the pits and repaired something actually, because he's about 27, so I'm talking rubbish there. Oh, and his car's about to blow up also. It's about to blow its engine. He's wiggling it. Is it going to be the end of the road for Chris Butcher, surely? As he tries to get back to the pits one more time. Oh, he's going to be the wall again! Oh, that's surely going to be it. Oh, he gets going again. It's reversing out of the way.
Get out
Does
of
a
the
nice
way,
Jenkins right in the front of the leaders. Right in front of the leaders who are thinking, what on earth is going on? Do I need this?
And he's
It
going
was-
to have to be careful there. The car was squirming across the track. And
Oh.
this track's so tight that you really got to literally park it on the entrance to the corner, hoping that no car hits you, because there's no other place to park it. He finally took himself into the pit, and he should have done that a lap ago, because, well, there's really massive damage here. You can see it switching all over the place. I don't know how he's managed to keep it going, to be honest. It's been very close, to say the least, but it must have been quite a scare for Jesper and Eric at the front.
Well, 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 there is the turn up for the books that we thought we might see at this particular track, and it is so destructive. Back to the front of the field. Apologies for that slight bit of lag there as we go back like 30 cars through the field. As we go, and then Eric Tveit here is in the lead of the race still. It's 12 laps gone. But the issue is pit stops, of course, Liam. Will Jesper have to pit? Eric Tveit will almost certainly have to pit. Of course, it is 51 laps here. Surely Torborg will have to pit here. It's 51 laps. It's a lot of it's not it's the same distance as Salzburg Ring, but of course the corners and the straights here are quite a bit slower than Salzburg Ring, so we're seeing quite a few more laps here. Chris Butcher in and out of the pits in 40 seconds. Quite frankly, that car looks like it needs an overnight stay in those pits to get that fixed. 40 seconds, you must have the world's best pit crew.
Yeah, and I think right now though, Tveit, he's got to be aware that Jesper may not stop. If he doesn't stop in 51 laps though, I'll be very highly surprised, because it's such a
Very
high
highly
order.
surprised, Liam. That's a nice sentence. Very highly surprised.
Ah, well, you know what I mean. But Tveit right now, he's going to try and just keep his head in the game. He's going to be fully aware of Torborg maybe having to stop, and he's going to really try and focus on maintaining lead at the moment. He's going to cut to 0.9 after suffering an complete movement, and he's set that on at the expense of valuable tenths of seconds, and it could be in the value of a race lead, because he's been hunted down now by Jesper Torborg, who's looking extremely feisty, but again he's just so calm and collected. When you see any other car on the track in that position where Jesper's in now, they'll be straight there looking for a move. Jesper just almost just lets him get away with it a bit, gives him time to recuperate, knowing that he's just there. He's like a looming shadow in the background, just looking to try and wait for a momentistic opportunity, which is just going to slowly come to him. As there you can see, out of the way goes Bradley Vanian, and a very smart idea to do so as well. You don't want to break these two up. I'm sure there'll be a few angry complaints in the forums afterwards at the fight. Going to try now and maintain that lead, as we said, but that's a massive, massive loss he got from that loss earlier on as a massive mistake, and I think he's got to try and not let the pressure get to him, because
Wide
once
there
you
at
do that,
first
you
turn
start
also.
making mistakes. And he just keeps doing it now. Teammate 1, they just keep on coming, and Torborg knows this, and he just keeps that car perfectly placed. He's the only driver, I think, with the authority to do that. Just not go for moves. Just as long as your car's there, the mistakes will inevitably come. He's got such an authority over the Touring Pro Series, and with a driver as young as Tveit, and is really wants to get in the thick of the action. He's really hungry, but that can sometimes be a curse as opposed to a gift, as he's really struggling now to try and build that gap back up. He's lost 0.4 of a second over that last lap.
Davis has crashed. Davis has crashed. He's dropping down the field. Where on earth is he? He must be in the archway somewhere. Where on earth is he?
By
That's
the
just
castle, isn't it? Yeah.
the car's not moving. The
It's
car
out of the
wouldn't move,
race.
but he's out of the race. Was it at the end? That's unbelievable. He's out of the race. Toby Davis from this position. Oh, we didn't get to see the replay either. Oh, that's so gutting. We weren't far off from. That's just typical. Oh, here we are. We do see it a little bit. Oh no, we don't. It's definitely down that particular corner. That is lag there, unfortunately. That's just typical. That we saw Chris Butcher's when we were miles away from the track. We don't see Toby Davis's, but he's out of the race. Second in the championship. That's surely another WTM title got. Of course, he has just been crowned the VCS champion, so he has won his Touring Pro Series title. But this is the series he loves most, and that's it. Out of this race, he will not finish any better than 27. No points for him today.
Yeah, no, I've got
Oh, we go back to this! And Meervold
Butcher.
has... Oh, the leaders are there as well, look! The leaders are there as well! Unbelievable stuff. Meervold, the loss coming out the corner. Chris Butcher just trying to avoid him. He's not... Any, you know, he's a couple of laps down on these guys. He's in the way at all. And
Careful,
he's
Chris,
causing it.
careful.
And look at the front end of Chris Butcher's car again. It's just been completely mashed once again. It got repaired in the pits. Look at it again. It's gone.
I think that's Levesque. Well, it must be, yeah. Well, even Levesque has got a very big view of this. We also try and shoot as soon as possible.
Trying to get back to the... Here we are.
There's Levesque who's trying to get his way through Jonathan Ockisman. Of course, he was just battling with Chris Butcher, and with both of them, you know, Ockisman having more off track than most of his drivers on the field combined at the moment. And then Chris Butcher as well, whose car has already suffered a lot of damage. There are the leaders there, and you can see just in front, that was where Maribel lost it, collected.
This was Eric to fight you.
Slowed down, and then he just very lucky just to mark. Well, that was vision of, well, must have been some sort of the X-Men sort of vision. He just saw so far in front of that one. And that's really what you need as a racing driver, especially around a circuit as this. This really does separate the men from the boys, and it's doing a sterling job of that right now. There's Tolberg again taking a couple cents out of that lead, down to 0.7 after being at 0.9. So it's almost just anything you can do, I can do better. They've traded fast since that time for the opening stint of this race, but the question is, when is Tveit going to go for a pit stop? Because he knows that Tolberg can maybe go, what, 30, 40 laps without making a pit stop?
Yeah, it seems like it is. Yeah, so the pit lane is so quick here though that I believe that both of them will pit, and even if Tveit pits, he won't lose, you know, massive amounts of time to Jesper Torborg. I think you lose around about 1 second going through the pits because the final corner is so tight and the pits are quite sweeping, and it's on the inside of the penultimate corner also. You actually only lose 1 second by going through the pits as opposed to going around the racetrack. So you're only going to lose 1 second going through the pits, and then maybe, I think it's around about 7, 8, 9 seconds actually stationary waiting for your car to be serviced. So you don't lose that much time. I think it's been worth pitting for both of them. So I think this is a mano-a-mano battle as Torborg makes a mistake there, a mistake into that corner. He was very, very close to Tveit, and I don't think he could quite see the wall and almost clipped it, but he lives to fight another day. The gap is now 1.1 seconds, but of course, that is nothing in these cars. It can easily be brought back, as you can see the flashing lights which indicate the pit lane just ahead there of Jesper Torborg. There is a pit lane. It's on the inside of that corner, of course, see? So that's a short route already. And then it's kind of around the outside of the final corner, which doesn't use all the track out of the final corner, so you don't lose very much time at all, despite the fact you have a pit limit, pit speed limit. The pit speed limit is only 130 kilometers an hour, so that's quite a lot. It's quite a fast pit lane, about 80 miles an hour for those in the old money.
Yeah, I think actually just looking at it, the one man who actually gained out of that whole Ollie Merivas-Merivald incident was William Levesque, that man in P3. He's got a 7-second gap now to Ross McGregor in P4, so you obviously kind of got a bit caught out by that one, had to brake and slow down. Levesque kind of got through, got that gap down to 2.9 seconds, but it looked like it was working out for him. And he's definitely keeping Jesper within touching distance. He's not masses and masses away. You can see the lockup marks there as they enter the hairpin. He's not too far away at all, so provided that can keep him on a circuit, he may not only be headed for a podium, but if these two get in a tussle or there's another incident with that car, we may even see him a bit further up the field. As you can see, Jesper maybe start thinking about a manoeuvre now as Eric Tveit getting a little bit desperate in terms of defensive manoeuvre. Tolberg goes for the cutback on the inside. Can he get it? No, he can't. Not enough momentum through there. The track just does not give you enough room as we go over the final corner now. As we take a look at Jonas Raivio back up to 9th position. So it's a better start. Oh, he's pulled over.
Oh no, he's actually dropped down. He was ahead of Robert Wiesenmuller, but now he's just stopped. I think he had to wait for people to go past him, but not quite sure what happened there. And not be able to see the replay either. Apologies for that. He's actually in the parklands there, but we don't see the replay, unfortunately. As we get further through the race, we get less and less opportunities to give replays. And the gap between Tveit and Torborg is just 0.3 of a second, and just 2.2 back to William Levesque. That's very close indeed. William Levesque is right in this battle. This is his home track. You could say he's not particularly near this particular circuit. Montreal will be his true home track, but for now I'm sure he's happy to call this his home track, and he's just 2.2 seconds behind this battle. What's the gap now? 2.1 seconds, so he's gaining on the leaders. Well, he's gaining on Eric Tveit specifically. It's because Torborg looks like he's been held up ever so slightly by Eric Tveit. You see the difference in lines there actually. No, Tveit went defensive maybe on the previous lap, but Tveit generally likes that tighter line into the hairpin more than the sweeping line which Torborg gives. And now they're going to come down towards the first turn, and Torborg definitely has the run, but Tveit has the inside, but he has to keep it in the camber of course, because Torborg can get the cutback and get across. No, it's not going to work. Good driving there from Eric Tveit. Jesper Torborg applying the pressure. They've got another bit of traffic ahead of them. It's Tristan Clark. They're going to counter it right in that zone. That's the worst place for encountering, and they get through fine. Levesque goes flying through also, right on the limit. He had Fernandez get sideways in front of him. Fernandez got out of the way before that zone, which is good. Jay Adji into the pits. Don't know if he's going for a one-stop or a two-stop. That's right at the cusp of a two-stop, but right at the cusp of a one-stop as well, so not quite sure here at the moment. So we're about 5-6 laps away from pit stops, by the way, guys, in case for most of the field, the green flag pit stops, as they would say in NASCAR. And that's the information there. So 2 seconds is now the gap between Levesque and Eric Tveit. 0.5 between Torborg and Tveit. We may as well just call it nothing because they're just running line astern lap after lap.
Yeah, and I was going to say earlier actually, as they encountered that traffic, the gap actually went down to 1.6 seconds. So whether William Levesque actually had a bit of trouble with traffic or no is yet to be decided. He almost got on the offensive there, Torborg, but again, Tveit holds that inside line. Got to be careful to. Torborg almost had the cutback there, but it just wasn't quite going for him. You've got to hold such an authority as you go through those opening sequences under the archway they come then, and it's so tricky. As you said, there's a little bit of barrier which sticks out, and if you go side by side with another car, not only have you got to be aware of what the other car's doing, you've got to be so aware of how close you run to that inside barrier, because it just spikes your car, it can pirouette you, and around you go, and it really can catch you out. So we'll have to try and see how this pans out as the car out of the way there. Let's try and see. They've got through around it, and once again, William Levesque kind of picked up the pieces there once again. That gap's still 2 seconds as Torborg almost launched an offensive manoeuvre, but Tveit is doing very well at holding his ground right now. Look how close they are, practically pushing him round this final part of the circuit. As you said, Tveit likes to hold those tighter apexes, which is leaving Torborg a bit stressed, I think, now. We say he's one of the most calm drivers in TPS, if not the whole of sim racing, but he does like to try and hold a certain line, and if Tveit goes for that line, it forces Torborg to maybe think outside the box. And like we said, with a circuit, with a calibre such as this, and enduring as this, you really do have to try and park that car so firmly that you know the move's going to stick, and if Tveit keeps going for those defensive lines without making a mistake, it's going to be very hard for Jesper to try and muster something up.
Absolutely, Tveit is driving beautiful lines right now. Jesper is not getting any opportunity really on Eric Tveit. Eric Tveit is making those small mistakes, but he's not getting any space to take advantage of those mistakes. I'm pretty sure he knows Levesque is closing, so I think he's agitating for a pass right now on Eric Tveit because he knows Levesque is right there, and he can't afford Levesque to get up to him also, because then you get the classic touring car problem of you have to defend and attack at the same time, and the gap is 1.9 still to William Levesque. So William Levesque's trying, he's trying, but he's not quite got the speed to catch Eric Tveit by anything more than maybe a tenth a lap at the moment, or stay with him. But we are coming to pit stops very shortly, so look out for those. You've got 3 or 4 laps to go before those happen. Going on to lap 23 right now. Track temperature is 35 degrees. It's increased quite a lot from the start of the race, and that will be helping Jesper Torborg with his better tyre saving technique.
Yeah, and I wonder though if Tveit might try and play it a little bit risky. Like, why not? You've got a few more, well, plenty of laps up, it's not even halfway yet. But when you try and go for the undercut, what if he pits in a couple laps earlier, anticipating Jesper Torborg is going to do a 2-stop or a 1-stop and pit just a few laps later? But what if then Jesper actually leaves it maybe further 10-11 laps and tries to get in front and muster some sort of gap? Because you know once you pit in, whilst it's a relatively short pit lane and you can get quite a lot of speed down there, 80 miles an hour to be exact, you still, the possibility of traffic does loom large. So I wonder what each driver's going to be thinking in terms of strategy right now, because both of them are going to want to try and catch each other out, but if they both think the same thing and opposites attract, they could be in the same scenario they are now.
So, let's just recap the race for you here. Torborg took pole position before we get to the pit stops. Torborg got pole position. Eric Tveit challenged but couldn't quite do it. Rivio qualified in 3rd. Levesque in 4th. Off the line, Tveit took the lead of the race away from Jesper Torborg. We had plenty of shenanigans back in the pack. We had Toby Davis, who's 2nd in the championship, only picking up 1 position off the start, goes from 7th to 6th. Rivio dropped from 3rd to 5th and then back to 8th. So that was a poor start for him. Now Rivio is out of the race, I believe. I think he did retire from the race, didn't he? Yes, he is. He's out of the race. Rivio's out of the race. Toby Davis also out of the race as well. We had Chris Butcher involved in a massive accident coming out the final turn, smashed it against the wall, and almost involved in another accident which almost involved the leaders later in the race also as well. So that is the quick synopsis of the race here for you, is to get ready for these pit stops. Levesque is still in that 3rd position, basically at the front. We've seen Tveit and Torborg very, very, very close indeed. Torborg into the pits, so Torborg pits. He's going for the undercut. He's going for the undercut.
And that is his first pit stop of the entire season. Well, it's actually 4 pit stop reasons, so it's the first time for everything. Let's see if Jesper can make this work. I was debating earlier, so you remember, if maybe Eric will go for the undercut, but it looks like definitely Jesper Torborg is going to try it. But now Eric Tveit has got the race in the palm of his hand. He's got a gap back to William Levesque, and preferably a clean track in front of him. And talking of a clean track, Levesque,
oh, he's not having a clean track. That's going to be crucial.
Torborg, and he's not at all, is he? Because there he's encountered some traffic, who I believe could be John Ockerquist. He's got through okay, very sensible there. And well,
Luis Fernandez
could have been a lot worse.
Luis Fernandez in that black 635, the black Mustang is Mr. Ockerquist's car, but Torborg didn't get held up too much by that, maybe a couple of tenths of a second as he tried to decide what to do with that particular car. But look, 15 seconds is what you lose in that pit lane. It's not much at all. It's just the battered car of Chris Butcher just up ahead. Ethan Bass goes up to 13th, by the way, just saw him move up. Ross McGregor getting out of shape there. So Ross McGregor is in that 3rd place now. Tveit into the pit to respond immediately to the actions of Jesper Torborg. Goes around Tony Matthews. Oh, and Tony hits Eric Tveit. And Levesque also has hit Tony Matthews. Well, what on earth is Tony Matthews doing in that pit lane, going extremely slowly? Obviously, Tony had no idea where his pit stall was. And now Tony Matthews is in Levesque's pit box as well, as Levesque tries to get into the pits. What on earth is going on? This is comic.
It's one of those things you put some sort of comical music to, but Levesque right now has got no choice but to wait, and he's just so frustrated because he had over 10 seconds over Ross McGregor, and that's just been.
And what's happened to Tveit? He's still in the pits. What? He's not repaired his damage. He's repaired his damage. Look at that. Oh, what on earth? He's repaired his damage on his car, which he didn't need to do. He just handed the race to Jesper Torborg. Oh, it's just handed the race for Jesper Torborg. People just making silly mistakes. Have to get all the simple things right, and that has not gone well at all. We've also got a drive-through for William Levesque apparently for speeding in the pit, so it's gone from comical to worse for William Levesque, and Eric Tveit has thrown away the possibility of a win here. Absolutely throwing it away because he didn't remember to hit the repair damage button. Oh, he may actually have been clipped by Tony Matthews, but I don't think actually. I think he's already in his pit box when that happened, so that could be that case. And Ross McGregor is trying to hold off Jesper Torborg here, not quite sure why he's defending quite so hard, because Ross can't hold him off forever, surely, because even if he doesn't pit, he's still going to have much worse tyres than the Danish driver. But they just handed the victory once again to Jesper Torborg, Liam.
Yeah, and again, I remember, season 2, of course, this track once again was just actually defined by mistakes, and it just seems to be the same case here. Davis and Butcher both having appalling races. Butcher barely staying in this one. Tveit having a scruffy pit entry. Levesque having the drive-through penalty, and Jesper Torborg, Mr. Consistency, just been there the entire time, as is Ross McGregor, which should now propel him into 2nd position, which just shows even if you're alone on the racetrack, you're 10 seconds clear of cars around you, there's not to say you can still muster up a fantastic result. He's done great in his championship so far, and he's looking to further extend that one today, because right now Ross McGregor is sitting in a very, very handy position. I mean, just taking a look at the standings now, and he's actually currently P4 in the championship. So with Tveit miles down the road, he could very well snatch their place off the 14-year-old. So Ross McGregor, we said it before, Ryan, he's very consistent, and he's looking to try and further extend that this afternoon. But Jesper Torborg's got to be one of the most happiest man in the world right now. But when Jesper Torborg's happy or sad, it seems to be the same emotion, you see, just like our very nice man. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, Torborg looking as calm and collected as ever.
So Eric Tveit is now back in 9th position, as you can see there on your standings. Levesque has pitted Leveca's also done a drive-through. He's in 6th. Urbana's pitted. Oyala, I don't think has pitted, and neither has Gary Lennon, I don't believe. So we've got the top 5. Only Torborg has pitted from those that I can judge. Yes, that will be the case. So from the top 9, only the Urbana to Veit, and of course Torborg have pitted. So we're waiting for that to bring itself out in the wash. And it looks like Ross McGregor's not going to want to pit here today. It might be wise to pit, unless he wants to pit for mediums a little bit later on in the race and go for broke. So if he can, yeah, of course, if he's going to pit for mediums later in the race and maybe do 15 laps on mediums, and if he can hold off Torborg for now, go into the pits, get mediums, he might fancy his chances. He might just fancy his chances. So this is actually quite intelligent driving from Ross McGregor to make sure he stays ahead of Jesper Torborg, if he can do it, of course, if he can do it fairly, if he can do it without endangering his race or Jesper Torborg's race, of course. In 3rd place right now is Robert Wiesenmüller, and he's going round turn 2. Bit of lag there, apologies for that, that's not him actually going in the barrier. Wiesenmüller is now coming off turn 3 down the straight. He's got just a tiny bit of damage on that Rover, but very, very clean so far. He's not coming to the pits yet either. Bonarenko's out of the race also. He was running in 14th place. He's now 16th, as you can see. He's DNF from this race. So Chris Butcher will move up the order to 22nd. And we'll probably catch Vanian before the day is out as well. So those are the DNFs you can see. Bonarenko, Rivio, Palmer. Palmer we missed also. I'm not sure what happened to Lee Palmer. He's had a miserable season, unfortunately. He loves driving these cars, but had a miserable season. Palmer, Davis, Servik, and Eike Ruding were the first 2 to get a DNF from this race. Bonarenko, you can see him dropping through the field as people pass him on the track. Top 20 get points here today. Jesper Torborg going to take the lead of the race here, going around the outside of Ross McGregor as he inside into this corner here. You do not win the outside there, and Jesper Torborg almost got pushed in the barriers. There definitely was not an absence of aggression in that particular move from either driver.
Oh, absolutely. Ross has got nothing to lose. Like you said, why not go for a win? You've earned that first position. You've capitalised on mistakes. He does not have to yield for Jesper Torborg. And a big moment from Jesper there. Very uncharacteristic. You can tell Jesper wants to get his hurry up on because he realises what's at stake now. Levesque only down to 6th after that drive-through, so that could be a saving grace, a short pit lane there. It's not the end of the world. They're still in a very, very good position, and again you can see how aggressive Jesper's got now. It's like he's just flicked the switch and he's gone into ultra attacking mode, because Jesper Torborg is looking extremely aggressive right now as he just looks to draw Ross McGregor all the way around to try and force a manoeuvre in towards turn 1. Down the straight they come then. He will have the inside line. McGregor will try and sweep it round, and he succeeds. There is just nowhere that Jesper can go, and this is what makes this track so entertaining to commentate and so entertaining to race as well, because Torborg is stuck now temporarily behind Ross McGregor until there's a mistake, because Ross has got that car firmly planted on that defensive line, and he is absolutely loving this atmosphere right now though, surely.
This is great racing right here. I would say that Ross would probably, I would say he'd probably stay ahead of Jesper Torborg until lap 38, and then he won't fancy chances of staying ahead for the next 13 laps, I'm pretty sure, and then come into the pits. But once Torborg goes ahead of him here, if it's between lap 34 and 38, I would say come into the pits. So that's it's a difficult one there for Ross, because if he can stay ahead for as long as possible and then come into the pits and put on mediums, he still has to leave himself enough time to use those mediums to try and get back up and perhaps win the race. So that's the conundrum there for Ross McGregor. He's got a bit more power on the straights than the Toyota Supra, so that's helping him. A bit more torque also as well from that 6-cylinder BMW 635 CSI. He's staying just ahead of that Toyota Supra, which is a 3-litre engine, a 6-cylinder also, and he's just allowing Jesper Torborg to go around the outside because he knows he has the inside for the next corner. It's happened again, contact again, Jesper's on the wall! Oh, it's so close, it's not going to happen there, and that's going to do another lap. McGregor ahead. It's another lap closer for perhaps Ross McGregor to go in and still has mediums on, which are worth at least half a second a lap. And of course Torborg will be on worn hards by then. Surely he's on hards right now, I presume he's on hards. Be on worn hards for them, so maybe those mediums will be worth a second a lap. So this is fascinating, Liam. I'm loving this. We thought Jesper Torborg was going to get an easy win, but actually Ross McGregor is driving beautifully and creating a lot of interest right here.
Season 2 all over again, isn't it? Just unpredictability. And I think what Rossi is doing now is very clever. He's not driving dirty, to say the least. He's driving very clean, very respectfully, but aggressive. And by doing that, he knows the limits of this track, and he knows how far he's got to push before Jesper Tolberg backs out, and before he has to back out or it's going to end in a crash as they approach Spaniard. But if he plants his car on such a tight inside line, where if Tolberg does go from over, he almost hits the wall, then not only does he gain time, but it's in the rules of the racing as well. He's doing nothing illegal. So what he's doing is parking that car, especially through there, on the inside, forcing Tolberg almost with a bit of a conundrum between either the car or the barrier, hopefully choosing the barrier for Rossi's sake, and by doing that he gains a little bit of time each time, because now he's 0.2 away as opposed to 0.5 running across the line, so he's definitely gaining time through these laps, but then Tolberg catches right back up. So all he's hoping to do is to hold off this option that Tolberg is piling on right now, as it, time slowly slips away. It's only a minute a lap. We're on lap 33 now, and it seems only a few moments ago we saw the whole Ollie Merrivold incident. But right now McGregor just needs to keep that car planted, doing what he's doing. He's gotten a bit wide there. Tolberg may have that inside. Of course, it will switch back for the next corner, and he should hold that inside line. But Tolberg, nonetheless, look how close he is now, probably touching him, and a big moment again. And that's what I was talking about. He's not driving dirty. He's just planting the car at the right places at the right time, forcing Tolberg into a minor mistake, which buys him just those valuable tenths of seconds.
It's beautiful driving from Ross McGregor, and of course, we've got actually Levesque and Eric Tavaita. Here comes Tolberg now. He might have to run down into the archway. He doesn't quite have the run. Look how close he's getting though. He wants to get past, and McGregor is just about, just by inches, getting the power on enough to make sure that he stays ahead of Jesper Tolberg. This time he's going to have to go middle of the track. Jesper Tolberg's going for it. Down the inside goes Jesper. He's pushed McGregor out of the way, and now McGregor really has to pit. He has to pit this lap or the next, unless he can run down here. Of course, he's got the power. He's got the power. Does he have enough of a confidence in the car to make a move? No, he does not, because Jesper Tolberg's going to keep the inside with McGregor around the outside. Will he pit this time around? If he pits right here, he doesn't lose so much time. No, he's going to pit. He should pit next time around, though, I would say. Like, he's 16 laps, put it on medium tyres, and maybe for 16 laps he can catch Jesper Tolberg. He definitely needs to pit this time around, though. He's got a big gap back to William Levesque. He will rejoin, if he pits, he will rejoin ahead of William Levesque next time around, but he has to do it in the next 1 or 2 laps, else that gap will disappear.
Yeah, and he's got to be smart, but I think what he's done is try to stay out the extra lap, hoping that he could get close enough for maybe a possible manoeuvre, and you can't blame him as well. When you're 0.7 seconds away from Jesper Tolberg, why not stay out? Why not try and risk that extra lap? He's already in a great position, as you said. He's got time to spare. He's not going to be under pressure, and he should come out in front of William Levesque. And his
but of course, if he pits, he's got nothing to lose, Liam. That's the thing. If he pits, he's got nothing to lose. He'll go back 15 seconds. He'll go behind Wiesenmuller, but of course, Wiesenmuller won't be very far ahead of him. Even if Wiesenmuller doesn't pit, McGregor will gobble him up with absolute ease, and he'll rejoin comfortably ahead of Levesque and Tavaita, who are in 4th and 5th. So, if he doesn't pit, he's going to come second. If he pits, he's going to come second with a chance of winning. So he should pit, but he's deciding not to.
He's been a very stubborn driver. Let's see what Ross can do.
If I was his team boss, I'd be screaming at him now, pit, pit, pit. Because you've got nothing to lose. You're going to come second if you don't pit. And if you do pit, you'll come second, and you've got a chance of winning this race.
I think he's going to realise now, though, just how quickly Jesper's pulled away, and he may have missed that opportunistic window, which would have given him the biggest momentum change, if you will, when he gets on to those medium compound tyres. But right now, to look back through the field, Tavaita back up to 5th, but that's a very heroic drive. If you take a look at Matej Orban navigating his way through traffic, but Tavaita back up to 5th after the trauma we saw earlier with a 41-second pit stop for seemingly damage. I'm sure we'll hear from him just what transpired in pit lane, especially as well with William Levesque. That's a great drive for him as well, of course, having to suffer a drive-through. Sit and watch Tony Matthews sit in your pit box and still get yourself into the top 5 is a very respectable job there by both parties. So Tavaita and Levesque doing great jobs.
I think there's been a bit of a pile-up at turn 4. We've been informed of this. Mervold's been into the pits. He's been in the pits for 60 seconds. I'm not sure if he was involved in that, but Fernandez is DNF'd around about that area also. We'll see if McGregor comes to the pits. We should see him come into the pits, or there's McGregor still not coming into the pits. I'd be screaming at him right now, into the pits! McGregor, into the pits, Ross, just do it! But no, he's deciding against it, so it looks like he's going to be an easy win now for Jesper Tolberg, because surely McGregor's just giving up too much time right now to even catch that back up on medium tyres. Jesper Tolberg is leading this race by now 2.9 seconds from Ross McGregor. Wiesenmüller is in a very strong third at the moment, and his best bet is probably staying out and maybe try and hang on to that third place, because if he does pit, he will go back in behind and quite a way in behind Levesque and to fight back to 5th place, and he may not get that 3rd place back once again. So the best thing for him to do is not pit. 4th place is William Levesque. He's looking good, like he could challenge for this win. De Veit was leading, for goodness sake, he could definitely win. So this is very close indeed between these two. Butcher into the pits. That's a nice short pit time for Chris Butcher. He's going to rejoin in 21st now. He's picking up positions as people retire from this race. Matthews and Vanian, the final points paying positions, and he's fine at the next 2 targets to try and get past.
And not too much time left either. We still have a fair few laps to go. We've got 12 laps, but the point is, though, as you say, it's a minute a lap, which leaves not too much time now. So if you want to make a kind of risky call in terms of pit stops or switch on to another compound, then maybe this is the time, because you're going to slowly run out of time, and as that time ticks away, as those laps count down, all those tenths of seconds which you could gain are going to slowly fade away into the sunset, and you just slowly become stuck in a bit of a rut, which is kind of what Ross has done right now. He's 4 seconds away from the current leader Jesper Tolberg, wow, I would say about 11 seconds clear from Robert Wiesenmüller. So he did have nothing to lose, but every lap he decides not to pit is another lap where he just loses that chance of perhaps what could have been a victory. So it's all down to pit stop calls now, but if you want to make a risky strategy or throw something out there to try and gain a few more positions, then this is the time to do it. But taking a look at the gaps now, Eric de Veit is not too far away from William Levesque at all, is he? He's definitely reeling him in right now, and these two, as we said, work very hard to get back up to their respective positions. Let's see what de Veit can do from here. Then he would love to get himself back on the podium right now, but to do that, he's only got to go through Levesque. But the debut of Robert Wiesenmüller, who really has carried a lot of steam, especially going into the World Supertech Series, if he can maintain this as a result. But Eric de Veit is on a different kind of steam right now. He really is pushing William Levesque. This is going to be a momentous battle. I'm sure it's not going to die down too quickly either, but de Veit looking like the much faster machine right now. But of course Tolberg was much faster than McGregor, 5 seconds already, and look how long that took him to pass. But right now de Veit almost had a bit of a run there. Levesque saw that one coming, slammed the door before it even opened, and de Veit's still behind, and he drifts that car back out under the dirty air. So let's see what de Veit can do from here then.
So de Veit is pushing extremely hard right in behind the French Canadian, not pleasing the crowd at all, I don't believe. And de Veit comes down into this corner here. I must say, not exactly approve of William Levesque's tactics to try and get into his pit box by driving extremely hard into Tony Matthews' car in that pit area. And even if he'd gone on to perhaps win this race, he would have seen himself get a harsh penalty for that deliberate driving into another car. But there you go, that is the brakes, I guess, at this particular track, as de Veit has now passed William Levesque for that 4th place, and it's a good pass also as well, an authoritative pass, and he looks much faster right now than the French Canadian William Levesque.
Yeah, and he really now needs to try and get the foot on the gas more than ever, because he's not too far away from Robert Wiesenmüller. You can see him there, that blue car in the distance just in front of some traffic.
Yep, onto the shot.
You've got to be careful though. I mean, you know, like we said, 10 laps to go then, and he can definitely make that gap up.
Oh, he can bash, dearie me. Could have got the way much easier than that.
And how has he saved that? Reactions like a cat there. That was absolutely incredible. But I'm sure Ethan Mass may feel a little bit of guilt after that one. But again, that's just a consequence of this track being so tight. You just have to kind of compensate with this stuff. That lap cars really sometimes have nowhere to go, but Ethan could have avoided that one, as Eric could have avoided that little mistake as well. Bit of a switch, didn't actually harm him too much, may have given him an advantage there, but Levesque nonetheless is not letting him run away with this one too easily.
So maybe he just wants to follow de Veit up to Robert Wiesenmüller, who they're catching hand over fist right now. Gap is 2.4 seconds, and there they can see him, look. They can see their target. Now de Veit is struggling a little bit now, he's ahead of Levesque. It's always very different, isn't it, when you, and Levesque's going to come back and challenge him, of course. And de Veit does not need this, because he wants to get up, and Levesque is just flashing de Veit, say, look, go through. There's no need for me to challenge, we'll go up and we'll challenge Wiesenmüller and get on with it. But de Veit's been following for so long, of course, he's finding it difficult to lead. You've got to quite have that target anymore. You have to use different sighters. It feels less comfortable. It takes 2 or 3 laps to get used to that. He clips the wall out of there also. Into the pits once again, Chris Butcher. Chris Butcher apparently is going for the fastest lap in this race. He's going to try and get fastest lap, and he's going to put on qualifying tyres and try to do that. Fastest lap in this race so far was a 106.5 from Jesper Torborg. And I don't think Chris Butcher was much faster than that in qualifying with a pristine car, so I'm not sure that's going to be possible for Chris Butcher, but he's welcome to try, of course. As de Veit is right in behind Wiesenmuller. Now look at 1.5 seconds is a gap. You don't need to talk about the gap, you can see it. You can see it. There is the blue Rover, there is the black Rover, there is the red Sierra.
Yeah, really, now these three are going to have a Goliath battle. Till the end of the race, they just have 8 laps to go. So
All three
made contact. All three of them made contact. And I think Tavai may have come off the best out of all of them there. And now Tavai has come off worse. He was looking so promising. And that's like what Chris Butcher did to his car. There's nothing he can salvage from that one, I don't think. Let's take a replay of this end. So this was going into the vertical. You can see the wheels just drift, and he couldn't catch the slide. And a plummet through the side for Tavai. I think that almost did the same to Eric Tavai. But nonetheless, a very big incident there for Robert, and that has definitely, I think, hindered his chances, to say the least, of getting a good result here today. And that's just what these tyres can do to you, to step away. There goes Tavai. It's not a bad nudge, to be brutally honest. It could have been a lot worse. I think his car's going to come off relatively unscathed, but more importantly, he's got in front of Robert Wiesenmuller and William Levesque. So, albeit by very strange circumstances, they've both passed Robert Wiesenmuller, and depending on who's got the more damaged car, if Levesque can try and catch Tavai now, then he may be able to salvage a position, because Tavai, while just a bit quicker, may be struggling a bit, we don't know.
So, 8 laps to go here. 9 laps to go, should I say. 8.5, let's call it 8.5. Jesper Torborg is leading this race by 9.5 seconds from Ross McGregor, excuse me. Eric de Veit is in 3rd place, William Levesque is in 4th. Of course, 3rd and 4th places are good results, but considering where they were earlier in the race, I'm sure they feel extremely underwhelmed. Eric de Veit was leading this race when he pit and didn't turn off the repair damage button. Levesque had problems getting into his pits, and it's been well documented. He's back in 4th now. There's some 20 seconds behind Jesper Torborg. To be honest, actually, Eric de Veit, considering he spent 40 seconds in the pits, and Jesper spent only 15 seconds in the pits. Eric de Veit has come off pretty well with that. The gap is less than 25 seconds, and he might be quite pleased with how that has turned out. But he's driven like his car's been on fire for the last 20 laps or so, trying to catch back up again. Wiesenmuller now is going to be under threat from Matti Orban. After that mistake, Wiesenmuller is going to be under threat from Matti Orban, because Matti Orban has pitted. Matti Orban has fresher tyres. Wiesenmuller's tyres are 44 laps old. Orban's are just 18. So this could be the next big battle on track. This is battle for 5th place. This would be Orban's best finish of the season.
Yeah, and he really has done well there. As I said, consistency is the key, much like in Season 2. It's just been a really rare case of circumstances, I think. As we said, we've had Davis suffering and retiring, Scott Cervix retired, Butcher's had an appalling race, unfortunately, due to a couple of incidents. We've seen a drive-through penalty for Levesque, and it really just has been those guys like Ross McGregor, like David Young, up into P7, Gary Leonard in P8 at the moment, he's on his return to the series. Heath Bass is 12th, Mazuski in 11th. These guys have got themselves firmly assaulted into those top 15.
And that was Chris Butcher quitting from the race. I just saw there. Sorry to interrupt, but I just saw his car sideways. It's definitely the Labatt shade of blue, and he's definitely just quit from the race. And there you have it, DNF for Chris Butcher, and no points for him today as Morban attacks Wiesenmuller going into the penultimate corner, down the inside, slithers the Volvo in there. You need quite a big gap for the Volvo to fit in, and there was enough of a gap, and Orban is going to take that position and now drive away, one would think, from Robert Wiesenmuller, who was staring at a 3rd place and then now in 6th. How quickly it turns around, Liam.
Yeah, and just like that, literally in the click of fingers, the whole race can get turned on its head, and poor Robert Wiesenmuller, to say the least, may come under a bit of pressure from David Young if he's not careful. It should be the next car down the line. 5 laps to go, so around 7 minutes, I'd say, to hold on. Let's see what Wiesenmuller can do, but back at the front, and 13 seconds away from Ross McGregor. I got a bit caught up there, but Ross McGregor.
I did that earlier as well. It's catchy.
So Ross McGregor at 12.9 away, and it just, well, that position, decision to pit in, haunt him later on. No, it's been a little bit of a topsy-turvy race for Ross, to say the least, but nonetheless, he's done a sterling job. So out there in P2, but when he kind of thinking about this after racing, actually, I should have pitted, I didn't have anything to lose. I'm still, what's he now, what, 11 seconds clear of Eric to fight, so still, you know, nothing to lose, but with 4 laps to go, it's not really much of an advantage to gain. But yes, Tolberg is still, this is a record for him, he's made his first stop this season for an actual pit stop, and he hasn't stopped since or looked back. For that matter, he's had a pretty clean race this afternoon. He's attacked when he's had to, and since then, though, he's just been really laid back and has gone into that zone where only a few sim races really know how to get into, and it's just been all-out dominance from Jesper Tolberg, which should be, as they cross the line once again very shortly, the 47th lap, and it'll be the 4th win out of 6 races, or no, 5th win out of 6 races, I beg your pardon, for Jesper Tolberg. So a very dominant display here once again. I'm sure this will be another trophy to add to his ever-growing cabinet.
So Jesper Tolberg looking for his 4th win in 5 races this season, and almost champion-elect, because there's only 2 races left in the season after this, and I don't see anybody else catching him at all. Of course, 2nd place in the championship is out of the race, no points for him. Jesper Tolberg's going to gain 30 points on Toby Davis, so Jesper will have around about a 50-point lead, I think, something like that, with only 2 rounds to go. There's at least only about 62 points available, so that's a bit of an issue there for the rest of the field. Looks like Jesper Tolberg is going to be the reigning champion once again, double champion, and he will become, if he does do it, Liam, the first driver to win 2 titles in a row at the Touring Pro Series in the same series. In fact, the only driver to win 2 of the same series, if that makes sense. Nobody has ever won more than 1 of each of the others, the Virtual V Supercars, Virtual Clio Series, Mini Challenge, ATCC, AGTC. Of course, AGCC and Mini Challenge only have 1 season themselves, that's impossible. And of course, there's also WSS, which has had 2 seasons, so that's difficult for anybody to do that there. But Tolberg will, if he does it, he will have 2 championships from 4 seasons in this. And yeah, that's quite incredible. The issue with Ross McGregor, I think it's a fantastic result for him. 2nd place is wonderful, you know, that's not to be sniffed at all. It's, no matter how you've achieved it, 2nd place is very good. Tommy Oyala trying to unlap himself is back in 10th from Ross McGregor. Of course, people get lapped here quite easily because of the shortness of the track and the way the track is laid out. It's quite easy to make mistakes, and Ross McGregor is not exactly liking the attention of Tommy Oyala. But what I was debating was, why was Ross McGregor fighting with Jesper Tolberg when he wasn't going to pit? I thought the idea was that he was going to fight with Jesper Tolberg, hold Jesper Tolberg up, then dive into the pits, stick mediums on and chase Jesper. I thought that was the issue, and that's why I didn't want to let Jesper pass and get a gap. But the thing is, if you're not going to pit, then no offence to Ross, he's a very good driver, but Jesper Tolberg had so much more pace, he had much better tyres, of course, much better tyres, 26 laps difference in the, no, 24 laps, sorry, difference in the tyre life, that Ross was never going to hold him off for what was around about 20 laps, surely. And that's the issue I've struggled to understand with Ross's strategy here. But of course, 2nd place is still a fantastic result, as Robert Wiesenmuller has made another mistake. He's back now in 8th place. I don't think we're going to be able to see it. Yes, we are actually. No, we're not. I'm afraid not. Apologies for that. Always teases us off actually. Say, oh yes, we'll give you this bit. Oh no, we won't. So no, Wiesenmuller is back in 6th actually. He just must have been a glitch on the timing. Oh, he's playing games with us, Liam. He's playing games with us. There's just 3 laps to go. Oh, give us a break timing. Anyway, Wiesenmuller, he's not in 8th. He's in 6th. He's still in that 6th place. Orban is still in 5th. This will equal his best result of the season. He got 5th place at Laguna Seca. So he's having a great season so far, is Mate Orban. 4th place is William Levesque, not far behind Eric Tveit at all, who is in 3rd. And Ross McGregor is now under threat. Oh, Ross McGregor's well under threat now.
Oh, he's off!
He's hitting the wall, and Tommy Oyala's hit him. Tveit goes past, Levesque goes past, and McGregor's back to 4th. Oh, do I feel justified?
Lap.
Oh, that's so poor for Ross McGregor. Such a shame. And I was saying that he was only 2.5 seconds ahead of Tveit with just a couple of laps to go, with very, very worn tyres, and McGregor's just gone too deep into the corner, clipped that, and of course, oh, he's actually got out before Oyala hits him, I think. He's flipped back the other way, and then Oyala hits him, and that's the end of that. And through goes Vanian, of course, and Tveit and Levesque to take position. So McGregor back to 4th. Where is Matty Orban? Is Matty Orban in the picture? No, he's not really. There is only a lap and a half to go. 2 laps for those drivers, of course. But Jesper Torborg has been supreme in this race. He has been patient, has been quick, he's kept his nose clean in the main, and he's executed the pit stop beautifully. Other drivers have not executed their pit stops particularly well. That's the problem. You've got to execute the simple things. You've got to get the start right, you've got to get the pit stops right. Then you have to drive fast. If you don't do the simple things right, there's no point in driving fast because you lose so much time in the pits. People try for weeks and weeks to find 0.2 of a second, and then they lose it all in the pits by just a simple mistake. And that's the end of that, unfortunately. And I do often wonder why drivers don't do the simple things first. But that's my philosophical rant over.
Yeah, it's always down to driver, I suppose, isn't it, and what they most feel comfortable with in terms of practice. But right now, Jesper Torborg, again, just sheer dominance, hasn't it been this afternoon? Just really, as like you said, kept his nose clean, and we saw in Season 2, just consistency was the key. And even up to the penultimate lap there, we still saw incidents, and it just really was unfortunate. Like, some drivers got caught out by the track, some drivers got caught out by themselves, and of course traffic was still remaining a rather large issue, and maybe drivers just didn't compensate for that. They thought that this race would be very straightforward, but one thing that has been straightforward is Jesper's run to the start-finish line. He just makes it look so easy as he just flings the car around this final penultimate corner. Now it will be the final time he goes past this one. He really has done a sterling job today to claim his 4th win from 5 rounds and further extend his championship lead. It's Jesper Torborg that takes victory once again, and he just does not deserve anything more. Absolutely brilliant driving by Jesper Torborg here, and another trophy to add to his cabinet.
Wonderful win there for Jesper Torborg. But oh, what could have been in this race if it wasn't for Levesque and to Vike's mistake. Levesque's going to come around the final corner and take second, though. That's still a wonderful result. Second place for Eric de Vike. That's a great podium result for him. Third place for William Levesque. That's still a good result for him also. I believe that's his best of the season, actually, if I recall correctly. Fourth place is going to be Ross McGregor. It could have been perhaps a win. It definitely could have been second, but it was fourth in the end as drivers are doing donuts on the exit of the first turn. Matty Orban finished in 5th. 6th place Robert Wiesenmuller. 7th place David Junt. Almost got to Wiesenmuller, in fact. So Wiesenmuller really struggled in those final laps. 8th place Gary Lennon on his return to the series. He'll be fairly satisfied with that. 9th place is going to be Bruno Salzburg. We've not mentioned him at all in this race, but a wonderful result there for Ferreira. Top 10 result, 9th place. Great result there. 10th place Tommy Oyala. So 9 drivers on that lead lap. And Ethan Bass in 11th place. We've not mentioned that at all. Ethan Bass has finished 11th in this race. He'll be very, very pleased with that. Some great performances here today. 12th place Marzewski. Remember where he qualified, Liam? Back in 24th position. He's gone from 24th to 12th. Shows what clean driving can do. 13th place Jay Adji. 14th place Jeff Dobbing, even though he's involved in all that kerfuffle earlier on. 15th place Andy Bernard. He'll be very pleased with that also as well. I think that's probably his best ever result in the TPS, if I recall correctly, or at least very closely. 16th place Tristan Clark. Again, great result for him. 17th place Kevin Enderman. Could have been a bit better for Kevin. Kept himself a bit clean, but dropped from 14th to 17th. 18th place for Jonathan O'Connor. He'll be very pleased indeed with getting points to this track. He was dreading this track in that heavy and powerful Ford Mustang. 19th place Tony Matthews. More points for him. And Bradley Vanian, on his debut in the World Touring Masters, gets 20th place and the final points paying position. We've got just 21 drivers who finished this race, and Ole Marius Meervold was the final one of those. Driver interviews coming up next. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Hello and welcome back to the World Touring Masters Season 4, Round 5 from Trois Rivieres. We've just watched a very exciting race here today alongside with Liam Jenkins. Drivers entertained us massively, and now we've got them in the booth for some words from them. So we're going to speak first of all to the winner of the race, Jesper Torborg. Jesper, that was pretty difficult but pretty comfortable in the end. It was almost a race of two halves.
Yeah, pretty tough race. McGregor was insanely tough to get by, and I had to push a lot to get through him.
User joined your channel.
I know on the race, of course, you had Eric right in front of you, and you applied the pressure. But were you confident in the end that you would get past Eric, that he would make a mistake, or were you worried at that point? I mean, what were your feelings when you were stuck behind Eric? Not that you have feelings, to be honest, but what were your feelings?
Well, I was actually just waiting, and in the end of his stint, he began to slide quite a lot, and at that point I was hoping he could do some mistake and let me go.
And then you obviously went into the pits just a couple of laps early, maybe 1-2 laps early. Was that intentional to get an undercut? To try and get past him?
Yeah, that was intentional, because I'm pretty sure I was faster than him, so yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations. That's 4 wins from 5 this season, 5 poles from 5 qualifying sessions. You must be delighted with this season.
Yep, it's going pretty well. The car is superb, so can't really complain about anything.
Excellent stuff. Thanks for joining us, Jesper, and congratulations once again on your win. Looking almost a shoe-in for that title now, as if you weren't previously. It's even more now. So we're going to quickly talk to Eric de Veit also, off the back of a win at Salzburg Ring. You came second here today, Eric, which on the face of it is a fantastic result, but of course it could have been so much more.
Yeah, I was very unlucky when I decided to go into pits. Tony Matthews, I think, drove into back of me just as I stopped in my pit stall, and that cost me extra 32 seconds of damage repair.
Because it's uncannily similar to last time we were here. Davila had the same problem while leading, and I got hit in the pits. Perhaps they should build a new pit lane here, Eric.
Yes, they should.
Yes, they should. But how would you assess your performance? I mean, you almost got that pole position, but just did nerves get the better of you in the final sector each time?
Yes, I knew that Jesper was just sandbagging the days before the event, so when I did that 0.4 in practice, I really thought, now maybe I got him. But coming into qual, he did the first lap he does is a 0.4, so I push all the qualify, but I sadly push a bit too hard and can't do the best.
It was very, very close indeed. Of course, then you got a great start to the race. You led for the first half. I mean, how was it leading? How many times did you come close to losing that lead?
Well, I knew that. I've been talking to Jesper before the race, and he said obviously he wasn't going to put so much pressure on me, since after all it's a city track and he's leading the championship. So yeah. Then when he was behind, when he was at the closest, I just knew if I draw the racing line, he wouldn't be able to get past me because of my rover straight line speed and the rover brakes.
Well, you got an excellent second place, resulting in a great charge back through after what happened in those pits. And still, second place is fantastic, isn't it, really? Because it's your second podium of the season. And the podiums are running thick and fast now. Championship next day, Eric?
Yeah, hope so.
And of course, you'll be racing in the World Supertech Series on Friday, as will Jesper Torborg, by the way. So you guys look out for fireworks from those guys. They're going to be joined by even more ringers in that. Although Eric's pretty slow in those cars. I'm joking, Eric. Anyway,
No,
we're going to go to William Levesque, who came third in that particular race. And Liam, I'm sure you've got a few words to ask William.
Yeah, so William, it was a very topsy-turvy race for you. Obviously, you're right up at the top of the field, but then encountered some pit stop trouble. So what exactly happened in the pit lane?
Well, now I know that because Tony hit Eric, that might have been why he was so slow in the actual pit lane. I hit him hard because he was nearly at the stop at the little kink in the pit lane. So that gave me damage. I spun around, had to turn the car around again, and then he stopped in my pit spot because I guess they were mixed up. And now I knew, since, I mean, it must have got some damage, so I wasn't going to wait 40 seconds behind him to get in the pit spot after, so I just decided to push him and try to fit in there. Finally worked out, but I had lost loads of time, and from there I was just making my way back up with Eric not too far behind, and then before we got to the third and second place, he passed me. I just wanted to follow him so we could catch Ross ladder spun. So we've got the result we got in qualifying. So I'm happy it turned out okay with the podium, but it was a bit sketchy.
So overall, though, I guess the result kind of paid for it in itself. You got a good result to try and aid your championship drive and get yourself in those competitive positions. But looking forward to the World SuperTech Series, do you see yourself being competitive in that one?
Well, I'm not participating in it, but I'll be keeping an eye on it. There's loads of good drivers. There's some new driver from FSR as well, and some other open wheel championships. So it'd be nice to see how they do in a TPS championship.
Okay, we'll let you go and wind down after that one, because I'm sure that must have been pretty intense. And well, here we also got Bruno Salza Ferreira. So Bruno, how was your race for you today?
Quite tough one, to be honest. Basically, just the rear didn't stick. After because I don't race runs on practice, and it seemed fine, but for some reason, after 3 laps on the race, my rear couldn't stick and just couldn't keep up with the guys in front of me. Basically, that's it.
Unlucky, but obviously looking forward. You've got a couple rounds together to try and get some better results. Are you looking forward to the final couple of rounds that you're going to have? Because obviously you got a good top 10 today, so you're looking to try and improve on that one in the future.
Yeah, hopefully the next few races will be better, but I think 9th is probably the best I'll get.
Well, obviously keep looking forward, and in the meantime, I believe Ryan's found Robert Wiesenmuller.
I have indeed. I found Matti Orban as well. Get to him just after Robert. Robert, your debut, of course, in the World Touring Masters. Very entertaining race for you.
Yeah, this was really fun. The car is quite fast on this track as well, but it's also a bit difficult to drive, especially under braking, especially with worn tires. And before the race, I thought it would be a good idea to make no pit stop, because I've seen Jesper and Eric doing it at the last race. But in the end, it wasn't the best idea. I spun only once, which is quite good, considering how the car felt.
Of course, you were in a great 3rd position at the time. Did you feel you could hold off to Veit and Levesque anyway if you hadn't spun, because they were closing on you just a few laps to go?
It would have been impossible. I was thinking if it makes sense to fight for the position, and then I spun anyway. So
I see. Of course, then you dropped in behind Matti Orban for that 5th place. But 6th place on your opening attempt at the World Touring Masters is not to be sniffed at all. I guess you kept your head once again. Well, you kind of lost theirs.
I'm quite happy with the results. The car's great, and I don't have so much experience as all the drivers who are also fighting for the positions here. So I'm quite happy. 6th place is more than I expected, for sure.
Okay, well done to you, of course. And of course, you're competing in the World SuperTech Series on Friday as part of the THR assault on the championship. How do you see that one going for yourself?
Yeah, I think my focus is more on the World SuperTech Series than on the World Touring Masters, and I'm confident I can get a few podiums, and I want to repeat my top 5 in the final standing, so this is the aim. And
Robert's not very happy with me, by the way, guys, because I predicted him to come 11th in the standings, and that was the first thing he said to me as soon as I told him my top 10 predictions. He said, "I'll prove you wrong." So he's not particularly pleased with me right now, Robert. Anyway, going now to Matti Orban finally for these driver interviews. Matti, an excellent 5th place for you here today. You looked like you were quite comfortable in that car around here in the Big Volvo.
Yeah, this was a pretty good run for me. I felt the car pretty stable, and I managed to avoid the problems on the track in the race, and everything went well.
And of course, it equals your best result of the season. You got 5th place at Laguna Seca. You must be Mate, I'm fairly happy with that. How has the car been apart from those couple of tracks? Has it been difficult?
I feel fast the Volvo in the short tracks. I think it's better for this car. Salzburgring wasn't the best. I like to go in short tracks with this car. It's pretty stable.
So Trois Rivieres and Laguna Seca over and over and over again for Matteo Albani is what he wants. You heard it here first. So when Matteo Albani is organising the series, don't be surprised if you just get those 2 tracks over and over. Don't think you made very many friends though, to be honest. So well done to you, Mate, for that 5th place. You just snaffled it from Roberts in the final couple of laps after Roberts' mistake. So well done to you. Thank you to all the drivers joining us for the interviews. Thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to you, Liam, for commentating with me.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thanks to everyone watching at home.
So we will return in 2 weeks' time, of course, for the World Touring Masters, the 6th round. That will be at... Oh, I've forgotten! Where is the 6th round at? Somebody tell me quickly. Before I say that, we'll actually go to the next round of the next broadcast for the Touring Pro Series is the WSS on Friday. And that's going to be an absolute corker. This is the strongest driver lineup in touring car sim racing right now, so be sure not to miss that. If you're not driving, make sure you tune into that. Myself and Liam Jenkins will take you through that once again. Hopefully Liam will feel a bit better. He's a little bit ill today, guys, so hopefully he'll be a bit better ahead of that event. Then the next event after that's the finale of the virtual mini challenge. Robert Wiesenmuller will be challenging Peter Davelaar for that title, so make sure to tune in to that. The next round in 2 weeks' time, as if I forgot actually, is Oran Park with the World Touring Masters. So that's going to be a fantastic event, a fantastic track, so make sure you tune into that. And so until then, enjoy yourselves.